Welcome back to Morning After, everybody. In today's Second Shot Sit Down, a second shot at your mental health through human connection when a friend or maybe a therapist might not be available. Cole Egger realized that during a very dark time, he didn't have the right person to talk to, so he created Listeners on Call. You guys, this is a calling service to help people who realize that they just need somebody to listen to them.
I lost my father last fall after a 5-year battle with cancer. But when my father was first diagnosed 5 years ago, we quickly learned that I would actually be the stem cell donor for my father. The type of cancer that he had required a stem cell transplant. The gravity of that situation and the idea that if my stem cells didn't work, my father wasn't going to make it, weighed very heavily on me. It's something that I would again do 100 times over. But I was also going through some other things in my personal life at that time. And so the combination of the two, I really found myself for the first time in my life in my mid-30s in a position that I really wasn't equipped to handle. I found myself in a pretty dark place, to be quite honest with you. And for the first time, I felt like I really needed to reach out and connect with somebody.
At what point was it? Was it at a low point where you thought, gosh, I wish I could just like call somebody? Is that kind of how this came about?
Yeah, I think it's oftentimes I tell folks it's probably sadly oftentimes not till you hit rock bottom that you reach out, and I think that's kind of at the place where I was. I felt extremely alone. I didn't know who to talk to, and so I finally was willing to have a conversation with a mentor of mine, a gentleman who I opened up to and said, here's where I'm at. And while he hadn't been through a similar situation, he understood what I was going through and certainly sympathized with my experience and said, I think that there's someone that you should talk to, and made that introduction.
I can see this as almost like I don't want to say stopgap measure, but like an emergency funding for somebody who needs somebody to talk to. And maybe they don't even end up needing to talk to a licensed professional after that.
Sure. It's funny that you say that. We oftentimes get coined by a lot of different groups out there, the Uber of empathy. The position that we really want to take is to be that first step on the continuum of care. We certainly promote and endorse licensed therapy. Absolutely, we do. But also understanding that there's so many individuals out there today who ultimately don't need to see licensed care. They ultimately just need to be able to talk to someone and connect and share what it is they're going through and simply be heard.
In your estimation, given that you've been working in this business and also experienced this yourself, why are people so lonely? Why are we lacking that connection?
I think the pandemic has pointed out of a lot of things, and one of the things we talk about often is it has certainly amplified the conversation around mental health and loneliness, the epidemic of loneliness and isolation. I think despite the promises of technology to connect us, we find ourselves as a society more disconnected than we've ever been. And I think that when I look at Listeners on Call, I see Listeners on Call as part of that solution, that we have the opportunity to bridge that gap of disconnection and leveraging human connection to help solve that loneliness and isolation problem.
So that was just a few minutes of what was a 30-minute sit-down conversation really about mental health and about how he it's a business story, right? It's a business story about how he saw a problem and created a solution, but it's also a story about human connection, about how we can help one another. I think this service is so cool, Dallas-based, and sometimes we do just need somebody to talk to.
The Uber of empathy. I thought that was a really great analogy. And I will say, at times in my life in the past when I've dealt with anxiety and thought, okay, I need to seek help, have you tried to find a provider that's covered by your insurance company?
That's what we talked about in the 30-minute episode. It's like you get online, you try to find it, you call, do you have openings, do you accept it? I don't wait for the call. By the time they get back to you,
right.
It's just, you can fall really far.
You call them with anxiety or depression, you end up getting more anxious and more depressed trying to find someone to help you. So that's a separate issue that we need to deal with when it comes to mental health and the coverage and availability of practitioners. In the meantime, maybe this is a happy medium between somebody who doesn't need, as he said, licensed counseling, but needs to be reminded everything could be can be okay.
Yes, I thought so too. And his wife actually works as a therapist, actually. So it's interesting to see the duo of them sort of putting this together to help everybody with their mental health. So the full episode's out at secondshotpodcast.com. Of course, we have it linked up at cw33.com, or it will be by the time the show's over.
Good stuff.